What is up, everybody? We're on day 203 of our Bible in a Year series, continuing on in Isaiah today, starting in chapter 4, and we'll go through chapter 6 today. Now, just a reminder, Isaiah is heavily prophetic, and because of that, there may be some things that don't make complete sense as we read it through. Maybe prophetic books a lot of times will be very apocalyptic, a lot of I'm blanking on the word, analogous language, talking in visions and stuff. So it may not be 100% clear in the moment until those things are fulfilled, and then you can kind of see what was being spoke of. There is some that in Isaiah that may link to end time stuff, to Jesus, to several different areas. So we're gonna start going through here, and I would highly recommend find somebody that has a good teaching on Isaiah. Not like we're going through now. We're just reading through, and like I said, we're doing the entire Bible in a year, so we're going at a quick pace, and so we're not going to have time to really stop and break down a lot of it. Maybe at some point in the future, I will. I have plans to tackle Isaiah like that. I don't feel quite qualified myself for that, but try to find somebody that has a good teaching through Isaiah and work through that way to really get everything out of it, or get a good study Bible, like the CSB Apologetic Study Bible that I have, and that is what we're reading from in this series. So, if you're interested in that, there will be a link in the description, as well as a link to a review I've done of that Bible, why I think so highly of it, and kind of just a breakdown of it. So, let's jump right in chapter 4. On that day, 7 women will seize one man, saying, "We will eat our own bread and provide our own clothing. Just let us bear your name, take away our disgrace." On that day, the branch of the Lord will be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the land will be the pride and glory of Israel's survivors. Whoever remains in Zion and whoever is left in Jerusalem will be called holy, all in Jerusalem written in the book of life. When the Lord has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and cleansed the blood guilt from the heart of Jerusalem by the spirit of judgment and the spirit of burning. Now remember, the daughters of Zion, we talked last week, they were the ones that were described as being haughty. They had they kind of like looked down at people, and they had a very high opinion of themselves, and everything was taken away. Verse 5. Then the Lord will create a cloud of smoke by day and a glowing flame of fire by night over the entire site of Mount Zion and over its assemblies, for there will be a canopy over all the glory, and there will be a shelter for shade from heat by day and a refuge and shelter from storm and rain. Chapter 5. I will sing about the one I love, a song about my loved one's vineyard. To the one I love, song about the one's love, my loved one's vineyard. The one I love had a vineyard on a very fertile hill. He broke up the soil, cleared it of stones, and planted it with the finest vines. He built a tower in the middle of it, and even dug out a winepress there. He expected it to yield good grapes, but it yielded worthless grapes. So now, residents of Jerusalem and men of Judah, please judge between me and my vineyard. What more could I have done for my vineyard than I did? Why, when I expected a yield of good grapes, did it yield worthless grapes? Now I will tell you what I am about to do to my vineyard. I will remove its hedge, and it will be consumed. I will tear down its wall, and it will be trampled. I will make it a wasteland, and it will not be pruned or weeded. Thorns and briars will grow up. I will also give orders to the clouds that rain should not fall on it. From the vineyard of the Lord's armies is the house of Israel. And the men of Judah, the plant he delighted in. He expected justice, but saw injustice. He expected righteousness, but heard cries of despair. Woe to those who add house to house and join field to field, until there is no more room, and you alone are left in the land. Now remember, this is a word given by a prophet to Israel, speaking on behalf of God. Verse 9, I heard the Lord of armies say, indeed, many houses will become desolate, grand and lovely ones without inhabitants. For a 10-acre vineyard will yield only 6 gallons of wine, and 10 bushels of seed will yield only 1 bushel of grain. Woe to those who rise early in the morning in pursuit of beer, who linger into the evening inflamed by wine. At their feast they have lyre, harp, tambourine, flute, and wine. They do not perceive the Lord's actions, and they do not see the work of his hands. Therefore, my people will go into exile because they lack knowledge. Her dignitaries are starving, and her masses are parched with thirst. Therefore, Sheol enlarges its throat and opens wide its enormous jaws, and down go Zion's dignitaries, her masses, her crowds, and those who celebrate in her. Humanity is brought low, each person is humbled, and haughty eyes are humbled. But the Lord of armies is exalted by his justice, and the holy God demonstrates his holiness. Through his righteousness, lambs will graze as if in their own pastures, and resident aliens will eat among the ruins of the rich. Woe to those who drag iniquity with cords of deceit, and pull sin along with cart ropes, to those who say, let him hurry up and do his work quickly, so that we can see it. Let the plan of the Holy One of Israel take place, so that we can know it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who substitute darkness for light and light for darkness, who substitute bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who consider themselves wise and judge themselves clever. Woe to those who are heroes at drinking wine, who are champions at pouring beer, who acquit the guilty for a bribe and deprive the innocent of justice. Therefore, as a tongue of fire consumes straw, and as dry grass shrivels in the flame, so their root will become like something rotten, and their blossoms will blow away like the dust, for they have rejected the instruction of the Lord's armies, and they have despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore the Lord's anger burned against his people. He raised his hand against them and struck them. The mountains quaked, and their corpses were like garbage in the streets. In all this his anger has not turned away, and his hand is still raised to strike. He raises a signal flag for the distant nations, and whistles for them from the ends of the earth. Look how quickly and swiftly they come. None of them grows weary or stumbles. No one slumbers or sleeps. No belt is loose, and no sandal strap broken. Their arrows are sharpened, and all their bows strung. Their horses' hooves are like flint. Their chariot wheels are like a whirlwind. Their roaring is like a lion's. Their roar is like young lions. They growl and seize their prey and carry it off, and no one can rescue it. On that day, they will roar over it like the roaring of the sea when one looks at the land. There will be darkness and distress. Light will be obscured by clouds. Chapter 6. In the year of King Uzziah, or in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim were standing above him, and they each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, with 2 they flew, and one called to another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. His glory fills the whole earth. Now, remember, I did bring this up previously. Isaiah is during the reign of a few different kings. We saw sorry, I feel like I've sneezed. We saw before that there was a we saw the list of kings, like who came after who, like their beginnings or endings, and it was kind of an overview. Now after that, we have seen in a couple different books some more details of those kings, things that have happened, different events. We saw Solomon, um, things of that nature. So this is giving us more of an in-depth look in those time periods. Now, verse 4. The foundations of the doorways shook at the sound of their voices, and the temple was filled with smoke. Then I said, Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and live among a people of unclean lips, and because my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of armies. Side note, to all the people who claim to have had a trip to heaven. They go on these trips and they visit heaven, or claim to have been visited by an angel, and um, people that run in certain circles. I'll say they may be associated with a certain church in Redding, California, um, loosely or directly, but they run in those types of circles, talking about having conversations with angels, and they show up and you have breakfast with them, or you just talk to them, or it's just like seeing a friend on the road. This is Isaiah's response to being in the presence of God. Right? Let's reread verse 5. Then I said, woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and live among a people of unclean lips, and because my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of armies. It's not a casual thing. This is not a casual encounter. Just throwing that out there. Verse 6. Then one of the seraphim flew to me, and in his hand was a glowing coal that he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, now that this has touched your lips, your iniquity is removed, and your sin is atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord asking, who will I send? Who will go for us? I said, here I am, send me. And he replied, go, say to these people, keep listening, but do not understand. Keep looking, but do not perceive. Make the minds of these people dull, deafen their ears, and blind their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, understand with their minds, turn back and be healed. Then I said, until when, Lord? And he replied, until cities lie in ruins without inhabitants, houses are without people, the land is ruined and desolate, and the Lord drives the people far away, leaving great emptiness in the land. Though a tenth will remain in the land, it will be burned again, like the terebinth or the oak that leaves a stump when felled. The holy seed is the stump. And that is it for our reading for today. We do have questions, as always. So, questions for today. Question 1. What does Isaiah's vision of the Lord in chapter 6 teach us about God's holiness and our need for purification? Again, I touched on this a little bit. This is where he was standing there and he was saying, woe is me, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I come from people of unclean lips. He's basically saying, I am ruined. I do not deserve to be here. I cannot be here. I am unholy. That is his reaction to being in the presence of God. It shows how truly unworthy he was to be there. The prophet that God called, God hand selected, is not worthy to be in his presence. That is what we see when we see the presence of God, when we're in the presence of God. That is what, when I've talked before about getting a proper understanding of how truly holy God is, that is a proper understanding of how truly holy God is. And even that, I'd say, is probably not full. It's probably a glimpse. But that is an understanding of how holy God is and how truly horrible our sin is. Question 2. How does the image of Israel as a vineyard in chapter 5 help us understand God's expectations for his people? I see this as, when it talks about the vineyard, the picture of the vineyard that we see there, growing, producing, doing what you're supposed to do, what you're called to do. Like the in the story, he was upset because the vineyard, the grapes, the grapevines were not producing grapes like they are supposed to do. He planted them because he wanted them to do what their purpose was. So that's anyway. That's how I see this. They're not doing what their purpose was. We need to be doing what our purpose is. I think with Israel, they weren't doing what they're supposed to do. So that's what eventually led to, I mean, the plan that was there from the beginning. But Jesus coming down and being the sacrifice, living the life that we couldn't live, dying the death that we should have died, grafting us in as Gentiles, grafting us into the family, and as a result, we can take on his righteousness as our own, and we can be presented before God as holy, not because of anything that we have done, but because of what Jesus has done for us. Question 3. Why do you think Isaiah was willing to say, "Here I am, send me," even after hearing that the people would not listen? I think Isaiah has a heart after what God wants. Even knowing that the people are not going to follow through, they're not going to listen, they're not going to do what they're supposed to do, Isaiah wants to be the hands and feet of God. He knows it's a daunting task. He knows the responsibility that goes with it. Like we talked, I think yesterday, the first day of Isaiah, the punishment for being a prophet and speaking as if you're speaking on behalf of God and not actually speaking on behalf of God. It is a massive, massive weight. He wants to bear that weight. He wants to go and be the hands and feet of God, regardless of what it means for him, regardless of how difficult it's going to be. He wants to do that. I think that shows his heart is genuine for the things of God. We should do the same. We need to be willing to step up in difficult situations. We need to be willing to step up when it costs us something. Now, a lot of people listening to this, I know my audience predominantly is in U.S., more Western countries outside of the U.S. Most people that are listening to this probably have never, myself included, have not had much real sacrifice that they've had to do in the name of Christ. There may be some, but compared to what some people have had to sacrifice, is probably not as much. We need to think about, would you be willing to sacrifice everything if it was called for? Not saying to glorify that or to want that, but just try to prepare yourself. Try to think about, would you be willing to? I think it's a good habit to get into. And that's all for today. Isaiah, like I said, it's an interesting book, good book. There's a lot to it, and it goes way deeper than what we're able to get into here. If I can find somebody that's got a good teaching on Isaiah or through Isaiah, I'll try to link it. I'll even go back on previous days and try to link it, but I'm just not aware of anything off the top of my head. So, yeah, but it's good either way. Still just kind of going through it. It's a good process to do. It's a good process to get in the habit of, and I think it's beneficial to just get in and read it, even if we don't fully comprehend everything. So, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as all those things help the channel grow. If this has been a blessing to you, you can share it with somebody else. It can be a blessing to them, and word of mouth is the best way that podcasts grow as well. So that can be something that helps this channel as well. Come back every single day. We're going to have more content every single day. Bible reading plan. We're going through the Bible an entire year, different teachings, all kinds of just really great biblical sound stuff like that. So you're not going to want to miss it. Come back, subscribe. Thanks. God bless.